Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Quantum Bridge again. It is my pleasure to introduce the great Dr. Kia Pruitt with us today, all the way from the US of A. Welcome to the show, Kia.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
You're bringing some sunshine to us from
Is it cold?
It's just,
Okay.
yeah, and grey and it's
Oh,
the usual sort of thing.
yeah.
We're well
Yeah,
used
it's
to it.
winter. It is still winter, isn't it? It's still winter there, right?
It
Coming
certainly
into
feels like it.
yeah.
Okay. Hi, family. Hi, Soul family. It's good to be here. To all the viewers, I'm so honored that you would have me. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. So normally, Kia, you do a lot about the RV and the GCR. And for those who aren't familiar with that, we're talking about a revaluation, the global currency reset, which is based around mostly the suppression of foreign currencies and things, really, isn't it? That bringing them all back to a, what we call it, parity, a level playing field. So, and much as we could spend hours talking about that in itself, I think it'd be great if people, they can watch that on your channel about that.
Okay.
And is that up and running? Are you still banned?
I'm still banned until tomorrow.
Which
From
is
YouTube. I'm on Rumble, but my YouTube channel is where most people follow me, and I'm censored from that until tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not sure the exact date. They don't even tell you the exact date. They just tell you about 14 days.
okay. So today is the 20th of March. So let's give it a few days. And
Okay.
hopefully, by the time we've posted this, you haven't got banned again. So,
Because they will go back a year or two and find videos and take them down, remove them, and give you a strike for that.
well, there's a tip for us then. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So anyway, Casper, I'm going to hand over to you, and maybe you can get going with some of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, hi, and thank you very much, Kia, for joining
You're
us.
welcome. You're welcome.
We found you. Actually, Gary found you. I loved your energy.
Thank you. My daughter decided to step
Right.
in.
Hello.
That's all right. We haven't had the
Thank
cats
you.
come crashing in yet.
We have cats. There's people.
You do? Okay.
Don't worry about any of that. It's all life. Life is going on. Right?
We do have life. That's right.
Yeah. So that's the good stuff. So anyway, all I was trying to say was that Gary was fortunate enough to find you and to realize that you were very much on a wavelength, particularly energetically, that would appeal to us, and then showed me some of your videos. I felt exactly the same, inspired, happy, glad that there's more people out there who are, the main thing I would say is finding and sharing their truth, whatever that might be. And that's very much what this channel is about. The Quantum Bridge, the whole idea is that voices that maybe are suppressed, or those of people that wouldn't reach a wider audience, can be brought to that wider audience, particularly the UK, but we hope obviously our reach is international as well. And we'd love, the first thing I suppose is just to find out a little bit more about you, Dr. Kia, and how originally you came into this territory, whether there was an awakening process and so on, all those things that are likely to bring us all into this area that is still quite fringe, but has areas of it that aren't quite so. And I'd just love to hear about what promoted enough of that urgency and spirit in you to create different platforms for yourselves and to put yourself out into the world, because it's not an easy thing to do. So over to you. I'd love to hear about it.
Yes, sure. So when President Trump first came out, I noticed that a lot of people had so many negative things to say about him, and I didn't understand why. When I asked people what their grievance was with, so what is your grievance with this man? Because just in the 1990s, everybody loved him with the rap music, the rap stars loved him. Everybody wanted to be like Donald Trump. And so people could not give me a justifiable reason for why they didn't like the president. And so even when they would tell me reasons, I would research what they said, and I say, no, that's not what he said, or you took things out of context. And so it kind of just made me look deeper into his policies and, you know, his thoughts, his ideologies. And what I found was that the man loved America. He loved people, and he was really trying to make America great again by restoring the republic, our lawful government, and returning us to sound money, which is gold and silver. So keep in mind, I didn't grow up with a television. My mother wouldn't allow us to watch television. And when we got older, she said the only television we were allowed to watch was anything that was educational. So I wasn't used to programming. I wasn't used to media, news media, and any of that programming my mind. And I didn't have idols. The only idols I had was God. And, you know, I grew up in a biblical home where you weren't supposed to have idols before God. So I didn't get what everybody else was being fed, you know, so I wasn't easily persuaded. And so that led me to just speak emphatically and strongly in support of the president, because I wasn't afraid, because I didn't grow up with fear. I didn't care about what people thought about me. I'm always been courageous, you know. And again, I didn't listen to mainstream media. Although I had been trained to be a journalist, I learned that there were two different things. There's a reporter and there's a journalist. And a reporter just regurgitates or reiterates something that they've been told, whereas a journalist actually vets information, researches, and report from an unbiased standpoint.
Well, they're meant to.
Sir?
They're at least meant to do that, yeah.
Right, right. So journalists and reporters really are two different things. A journalist, so a lot of people that call themselves journalists, they're not, they're just reporters.
Yeah.
How has this been? I know you've had some sort of backlash really from your it being conservative and supporting Trump in that way. It's not been an easy journey for you, has it? On a personal level.
It hasn't been easy at all, especially when you consider that I come from a community classified as Black. People would say you're not really Black, and Biden said if you're not,
yeah, including Biden. Yeah.
if you don't vote for me, you're not Black. And my retort was, I'm not Black. I'm American.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I don't believe in color classification. And I understand that Black is a status in law. It has nothing to do with your ethnicity or your nationality. It's a status, it's a legal standing, meaning you have no standing in law, according to Black's Law Dictionary. So I would tell them, I'm not Black. I'm not, if you want to ask me my ethnicity, you can maybe talk about my tribe. I'm from America, we're Cherokee, and now we'll talk about my different tribes, but I'm American, that's my nationality. So it was hard hearing from people classified as Black tell me you're not really Black, and you're an Uncle Tom. And I said, well, have you really studied Uncle Tom? He wasn't a bad person. Like he wasn't. And I don't know what they call snapping back. I would just snap back and say, no, I'm not an Uncle Tom, but if you call me an Uncle Tom, okay, sure, that person was a great person. And yes, I am a nationalist. You can even call me a white nationalist. I don't care. Just don't call me late for dinner.
It is quite a different concept, but we don't have that same thing like you do in America, where it's so and so American. These different groups. It's quite an odd thing to see as an outsider.
Really,
it's more division. I feel rather than like here we just say you're English or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not the same. They don't sort of preface it with something.
It's really bad here. It's gotten better, honestly, but it's still bad. But I think the so-called MAGA movement has been really good for Americans, because Donald Trump is a mirror. If you think the man is racist or hateful, it's probably because that's who you are. And it comes out because they cannot point to any evidence of him being racist.
So in some ways, you didn't have maybe a traditional awakening like other people because you didn't have so much of that media programming. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I agree.
That reality collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But it's been fun. It's been fun waking people up. It's been fun shaking people. As a matter of fact, my brother called me just the other day, like, how did you turn out like that? And I had to remind him, I said, we've always been conservative. We've, just because somebody told you you're supposed to be a Democrat, we thought we were supposed to be that way. But we believe in marriage, we believe in God. And I told my brother, you defended your country, you served in the Iraqi war. Like, don't let the media change your mindset. You are a patriot. You fought for this country. You've been married 25 years. What are you talking about? You believe in preserving your wealth. That's what patriots do. You're very family oriented. And he was like, wow, yeah, you're right. That's how serious the media is, though. It will tell you if you're Black or you come from a certain community, you have to support certain liberal agendas. And we never have. Most of us, even in the so-called Black community, there's a time we didn't believe in all these liberal agendas, that they promote now. Hey, oh, hey, kitty.
He always likes to try and make at least one appearance, Kia.
That's awesome.
But also it was nice because, as we said, there's always people coming in. And it's just life. It's just life going on. You just touched on an area that is, I think, close to a lot of people's hearts at the moment, given what's happening in the economies at present, and also the lack of trust, perhaps, in financial institutions and standard investments. When did the whole area of sort of, I suppose, maybe gold-backed currencies, for example, and actually sort of gold and silver as a way to store or even generate wealth, when did that part of this whole sort of dynamic play come into view for you?
What's interesting is I have a son who studied economics. I think he's probably 30 now, or 31, but he studied economics in college. And he used to always tell me, Mom, the important thing is to own a home. He said, this is what I've learned, is to own a home, which his father always talked about home ownership. And he said, one of the reasons you own a home is so that you can store gold and silver. Now, that was kind of foreign to me, but I remembered him saying that. And then somebody sent me a link out of nowhere to attend a silver conference with Silverfest. I don't know if you all follow Chris Marcus. Chris Marcus of Arcadia Economics does a Silverfest online every year. So somebody sent me a link and I told my son, I said, you kept saying that I need to get into storing silver and gold, and somebody sent me this link. So I'm going to attend the Silverfest. I attended the Silverfest online and won an ounce of silver. And once that silver came, because I answered a question correctly, and once it came to my home and I opened it up and I saw it and I felt it in my hands, I could actually feel the energy from the silver resonate with my being. And I had these memories and these flashbacks of my great grandfather having silver and gold. And so I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I have the silver in my hand and it's reminding me that great grandfather, did he have silver and gold? And she said, yes, he did. He collected it in the 70s. He had silver, 60s and 70s. He had bags and bags of silver and precious metals, and it was supposed to go to you all, his great grandchildren. But I didn't understand the value of it, so I gave it away. But she said, but God is unlocking those memories in you for a reason. And so that led me down the path of studying silver and gold, asking my son questions about it. And it's just wonderful how your child can teach you, and a child shall lead them, is what the Bible says. At the same time, I had another son who was working for a moving company. And I asked him, what do rich people have? And he said, well, Mom, I can't tell you everything that rich people have, because he was working for a company that dealt exclusively with wealthy people. He said, but I can tell you two things that they have that most of us don't: gold and guns. And so this was all happening at the same time. And then I said, well, it's interesting because I heard Donald Trump say something about the gold standard. He took payment from APMEX, the precious metals company, to rent his top floor of his tower. And also all this stuff started happening together. And I think it was just an awakening that happened that just was spiritual. And that led me to start to speak about gold and silver. And then my son, who's an economist, was like, yeah, gold and silver are lawful money. That's what the Constitution says. So that education came in handy. And I thank God that he wanted to quit college. And I kept telling him, you're not going to quit college. I know you're a musician. You know how to do all these wonderful things. He knew how to build homes because his dad did that. But I was like, that college degree is my degree. That's for me. You're going to finish. And I'm glad he did, because he was then able to teach me about gold and precious metals, economics, and that sort of thing. I know it's a long answer, but that's just how it really happened.
Oh no, that's lovely. I particularly resonate with that thing that you say about it, of not being like covetousness and wanting to have something and hold it and squirrel it away and whatever, but that it's something that is, you know, for wealth and for life.
Yes.
You know, something to be to rejoice in, and the fact that you could hold something and have those memories and so on, and that and connection actually. With the metal itself, but also with your grandfather and so on, and a family connection. That's just that's a lovely thing, isn't it? No?
Thank you. It is. It is. And then we keep in mind that President Donald Trump had nominated Dr. Judy Shelton to be over, I think it was the Federal Reserve, to be the chairperson of the Federal Reserve. And when I looked at, something told me to look into her background. She happened to have a doctorate degree. It was either in business or economics, and she was a gold bug. So I was like, oh, it's now making sense. He's trying to restore us to the gold standard.
So unlike some people, including myself, luckily, you haven't been waiting like 30 odd years for this the RV.
No.
Because the last few years is it feels a lot longer. It feels like 30 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you haven't had that long a slog then.
Oh no, I haven't. You've been waiting that long?
No, I haven't personally. That's good.
Okay.
It wasn't until 2020, along with the rest of many people, where I was like, oh, right, okay. But
yes.
When I watch, you know, like Mark Z and that, and I hear about Mr. C, and he's like 30 years or whatever, I'm like, how do these guys do it? I don't know.
I don't know how they did it. I do not know. I probably would have gone insane.
I know.
But you have to live life while you're waiting.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good. I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly why we created the channel. We saw, you know, people like yourself that Gary will have seen, and we've seen a number of these people that we've spoken about both on and off camera, and we're like, well, actually, we have to take action, and if we can give a platform to more people, coming back to that thing about giving people a voice who might not otherwise have one. There's so many people out there who have lovely things to say and very nice hearts and so on, like yourself, who, you know, even if we can just get a few of those people to a few more people, well, at least we tried. We were doing something. You know?
I agree. You have to live life. And for me, while I'm waiting, I've been teaching people how to restore their families. You know, like, I'm like, that's something you can invest in right now, is your family. Get to know your children, get to know your grandparents, take them out of the nursing home if you can, bring them in your home so that the elders can teach your children values, and, you know, live under one roof while you can. That's one way you can save money. That's how you can prepare even for the RV, by putting money together and buying foreign currencies, or putting money together and investing in precious metals, buying one ounce of silver if you can. So it's all about the family, because healthy families build healthy communities, and a healthy community builds a healthy society. But it starts with the individual and at the family level. So this is what I've been doing while we're waiting.
Yeah, that's great. Again, and all of that about a support network, Kia, is just a wonderful thing to put your time and energy into, creating something that, should all of these things that we believe are going to happen come to pass, right? And as they come to pass, we're in a much stronger position to then leverage all of this bounty and all of the great stuff that we believe is coming through. And not just for ourselves, because if we're stronger units and stronger communities, then we're able to help our community more quickly and the wider community more quickly. And we're able to be seen also as people who are generous. I mean, there's a great value in giving for the sake of giving.
That's right. You know, even if these things never came to pass, you still can operate outside the system. If you have a strong family unit, if we still make connections like you all, with me,
Absolutely.
American and UK, we can say we don't need the centralized system. We can barter with each other. We can do business with each other with gold and silver. We really don't need the government, honestly.
No, there's many ways out of that, and this is some of the things that we're exploring on the channel, is trying to get that information out, that you can just leave that behind. You don't need to be part of it. But I think what's interesting as well, I say on that, hopefully on the cusp of a wealth transfer, for me to see it's really nice to see the community on the whole just really talking about the good stuff that they want to do, the humanitarian work. I mean, it's actually the biggest part for myself, is getting out there and what can I do, to make things better in a way. It would be a great thing for me to be able to do that. I mean, do you have any projects that are, heartfelt to yourself in that way?
Yeah. So what's important to me, I have two things. One is homelessness. I don't know why that's just something that hurts me. I feel like everybody should have a home. We have enough land and on this planet to give everybody a home. And then secondly, I need to address the drug addiction problem. It's so bad here. I lost my father to a drug, to heroin. He was a heroin addict from the time he was a teenager, and I lost him in 2012. I lost so many aunts and uncles and just kids in the community, and it bothers me so much. And even when the government started to legalize marijuana, I was very concerned about that, because they started saying, no longer is that marijuana considered a gateway drug. So what you see now is a lot of kids smoking it, since it's not a gateway drug anymore and it's legal. And what the nefarious people or people on the street, they're lacing it with fentanyl. And so we see our kids die. And it's not just the Black community. Now it's all over the place. It is so hurtful. So I'm going to address that as well. And then finally, I want to say on Thursday, Gold Star mother Susan Price is a woman who's lost her son. And while he was in the military, he's a Marine. He was on a secret mission. He lost his life. She's going to come on my show on Thursday to talk about humanitarian projects, how to create them, how to write an outline, because she actually paid for a program, and her humanitarian projects through a church, they were all approved. So she's going to help our audience learn how to do that. What about you all? What about you, Gary and Casper?
Well, I have small ideas and I have big ideas. But they are all based on empowering the individual, and communities, and to become self-sufficient. And like we was talking about, that we can feed ourselves. There's a lot of talent that I think is being suppressed. For me, a lot of potential has been wasted. People who heads down in jobs they don't enjoy, and they have dreams of something else. And there's so much out there that people could give that I think is designed to be held down. So I think humanity misses out on a lot of that. Not just
because you're forced to work, and oftentimes you have to work in something you don't enjoy just to make money.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. So that money is the trap, and then it stops a lot of creativity. I mean, I've seen it here on the channel. I mean, everything that people see on the channel it's me and Casper, and my wife helps with some bits, and my brother does some other little bits, and the music came from another guy, and none of those things are our daily work. So we're all doing different jobs to survive. However, there's that little talent pool of creativity that we've been able to put together. I just think if humanity is freed up in that way, there's good times coming.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
And I would say, Kia, on that, I would love to just expand the reach of the channel, because this ability to give people like yourself another place to get your message out and get your energy out as much as anything else, and your enthusiasm and so on. I mean, I've been really touched by the fact that the people who've come on so far, we can just feel it. We can feel that they're really happy to have their voice heard, or heard in a different way, or by different people. And if I can just, Gary and I know Gary is more of an introvert than me. This is much less natural to him. He finds this an uncomfortable area, but even he's being able to do this now because he's seeing how much it's touching people. And even the limited engagement, because this is so new, it's not like we've got millions of viewers and so on. But as that grows as well, just the first few comments and whatever, just doing things and putting out a platform that helps other people to reach more people. That sort of network, coming back to what you said, Kia, about us all being able to work with each other. Yes. And we don't need the system. We can go out of it in terms of the food. We can move outside of it in terms of different ways of looking at all the currency. All of these things, we're opening this massive door. And if all these other things support it, as we've both touched on, wonderful. That's fantastic. It just accelerates it. But we're going to do it anyway, right?
Right, absolutely. And you know, when I started my channel, I started it because my son kept saying, Mom, you're doing all this work, teaching people, educating, coaching people for free. I've never charged for it. And I am a life coach. I'm certified and a counselor. He said, you need to monetize it. So I started my channel years ago, just out of the clear blue. And I didn't think anything about it. I didn't start making money till about 3 years later, but now I make more money than I've ever had. Ever more money when they're not silencing me on YouTube. Yes, because I'm doing something that I love and that people can resonate with and they support it.
Yeah, absolutely. But also the people who are going to do quote unquote well out of this are the people who are authentic. Yes. That's the beautiful thing, I think, for all of us of this next stage. You can't lie about this. It's either in you or it's not in you.
It's not in
you.
Yes.
And we've seen a whole world, and we've all played a part in that. I certainly have, where we did things because we were thinking of an outcome that was just good for us. We were thinking of making our own money, buying our own stuff and whatever. And it's a beautiful thing, I think, that we're all seeing is this switch from looking inward in that respect to saying, but how can I help this person or this group of people? Or more importantly, how can I empower them to help themselves? How can I help them to reflect and go on a similar journey? It will be their own unique journey. But, this thing of just saying, look, if we can start a channel like this, and we're lucky enough to have you on this channel, Kia, then people can do you can do anything, but you have to take the first step,
Yeah, I'm so excited for you all in your business and platform. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gary, have you got anything further? I noticed that we don't have a huge amount of time. So
we're always running out of time. But no, it's been great having you on, and hopefully, we'll have you back soon.
Yes.
And we'll see if maybe we'll be talking about the projects rather than waiting for the RV.
Because we really could.
That's a great idea. Yeah,
I like that.
For that, Kia, why don't we actually talk about it in the sense of it's all started anyway, right? We can all feel the energy at the moment supporting us on these things. Yes. Why don't we just start speaking about it as if it's already flowing, rather than we're all stalled? Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And then, we'll usher in that reality even quicker, and it'll stop us from being. Some people are lazy, but some people are just complacent, or they've been so used to depending on the system. But we're going to just go ahead and start acting. And if we go ahead and put these things in motion now, it'll become a part of our lives. And then we'll realize that we don't need the system. And hopefully we'll never find ourselves in this predicament again, ever.
Yeah. Here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, look, thank you very much, Kia, for joining us. It was really good to get an idea about sort of your world, where you're at the moment. But particularly, I think all of us now, our focus is forward and on the future. Yes. And that we are going to manifest it. We don't need anybody else. We'll do it. And everybody who wants to join in will join in and co-manifest a beautiful new experience.
I love that. I love it. We're doing something new. I love this. We're going to penetrate the psyche of the people and just, I don't know, have everybody just acting as if it is. I mean, because I guess once we say it is so, it is so.
It is. No. The word is enough. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. All right. Well, as Gary said, we'd love to have you join us again, and hopefully you will soon. But in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely week and that everything that you're doing, comes to fruition.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm honored, and it's been a joy and a pleasure. And I can't wait to introduce you to all my friends.
Slowly though, I'm English, I'm reserved.
Yeah.
Okay, slowly.
We're very
Okay,
reserved. We can't help it. That's our conditioning. Anyway, on that note, Kia, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Take care, Kia.
Make it a great day, guys.
We'll be in contact. Yeah, you have a lovely week.
Thank
Lovely
you.
to see you.
Okay.